this out.
You're gonna learn today.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Lakeside Chat. I'm your host, Brother John Muhammad, and as always, we talk with community leaders, political figures, and everyday people. Today, we're blessed on our show to have Brother Rizza Muhammad and my sister Nayyirah Muhammad. A long time coming, long overdue, and we're definitely glad to have you in the building, or as we say, at the lake. Right. And so, for those who don't know, and we talk with both of you all, who is Nayyirah Muhammad?
All right. Well, first and foremost, thank you, Brother John, for allowing me to be here at this particular place in this particular space. You know, I've watched your show a lot, and I know that this show produces change for our community. So it is a chat, but it's more of a birthing process. To be sitting here, to know that I'm coming out of the womb, or should I say your mind, for a vision for change.
Yes. Yeah.
So who am I? I'm born and raised here in the city of St. Petersburg. Most people know me by my birth name, which is Tabika. Tabika, right? And, you know, of course, I'm a member of the Nation of Islam, and I've been a member for 17 years, and through that process, I was given a righteous name, which is Nayyirah. Both mean the same, which is the light. Okay. So I have accepted the personal responsibility in what I've found to be my purpose, and that's to bring people from darkness to light through education, you know, but not the education of this world, it's God's education. I've been chosen for that.
Absolutely.
I like to say that. Because I've found my calling. But being a resident of St. Petersburg, this is home. And living here, and in particular in the Child's Park community, I've seen so many things that has happened here that has brought me to a passion to be a part of something great, and that's to help bring in a new St. Petersburg. That is not something that happens every day, like we just gonna blink our eyes and it's done. You know, because we think 15 years ago we're not living in that same St. Petersburg. Well, today, 15 years later, somebody's going to look back at this day and know that it's not the same St. Petersburg. So what we have here is the opportunity for change. So that's who Sister Nayyirah is. I am one that have a love, a passion, a commitment, and duty to make St. Petersburg a decent and better place to live, not just for today, but for the future. I have children. And I got grandchildren. Praise be to the one God, which I like to say is a lot. So, you know, that's who Sister Nayyirah is. You know, I don't particularly work for any company. I told you what I do. That's it.
That's a blessing, ain't it? For the reason.
Oh, wait, let me say this. I'm a wife.
You are wife, mother, grandmother.
You know, my husband over there, and I don't do nothing, you know, outside of what my husband allowed me to do, and that's be free. You know, so
I'm gonna come back to that after we find out who is this gentleman over here, this handsome brother Rizza.
Oh man! I'm just so honored to be here, and I thank you for the invitation, because any opportunity to serve our people in any capacity in any part of the world is always a blessing.
Yes, sir.
So I am Rizza Islam. mainly from the West Coast.
Okay.
You know, Compton, LA, Watts. You know, as you can see, the unity between the Bloods and the Crips. It's a subtle kind of way to bring the peace between that.
Right.
But yeah, I am a member of the Nation of Islam under Minister Tony Muhammad, who is the Western Regional Student Minister.
Yes.
He's the Western Regional Representative of the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, and I am directly under his guidance and his wisdom and the entire West Coast family. But we are, of course, one nation.
Right.
So
Right.
it's a beautiful thing. I'm also a humanitarian. I have been involved in just different community activities since I was 9 years old.
Wow.
This is what I do.
Okay.
You know, everybody from the bottom all the way up to the top, people need help.
Right. Right.
You know, it doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what religious label you carry, or what race or color or creed you are. Everyone needs help at some level.
Right.
So my purpose really is to help as many human beings, starting with my own first, as possible before I drop this body.
Right.
I just want to do as much as I can to help somebody.
Right.
You know, to cause them to be in a better condition of life after I leave.
Right.
You know, I just want to make sure I do as much as I can. And the Nation of Islam is where I was born in, but then I became active about 2.5, 3 years ago.
Okay.
And so I've been able to do many different things.
So you say you were born in the nation,
Yes,
but
sir.
you became active. What's the difference between being born in the nation and being active in the nation?
Very good question. It happens often where you'll see someone who's born into a culture or born into a religion, but they themselves have not accepted it for themselves.
Okay.
So in the nation, we'll say, you know, maybe you have been born in the nation, but has the nation been born in you?
Right.
Or has Islam been born in you?
Okay.
So for me, I wasn't active around the mosque. I wasn't involved in the activities, doing any of that until I was about 23, 24. That's when I became active
Right.
in this actual movement. You
Okay.
see what I'm saying?
That's a good point, because
Yes, sir.
you're saying you born into, but you have to accept it for yourself,
Absolutely.
and then you become active.
Absolutely.
Same question, Sister Nayyirah. When did you say you've been in the Nation of Islam 17 years? What was it that inspired you to join or become a member of the Nation of Islam? I know, like a lot of brothers and sisters, they learn it in prison, or you know. You don't look like you have that type of background. So,
No, but I've done my share of things.
so what inspired you to join the Nation of Islam?
Yes, well, my stepfather, who I make no distinction, you know, separate my dad.
Yeah.
He brought Islam into our family. In, I think it was 1996, 97. He introduced it to me, and you know, just being a child in the house, I was always curious, and he had different ways, but he never pushed Islam on us.
Right.
You know, but he would pray differently. He definitely ate differently. He didn't eat pork and all of these things. So I was influenced by many years of watching him and just asking questions and him pointing different things out, not even in the Bible, but in encyclopedias. That's just his way of teaching.
Yeah, Brother Wilmer. That's,
you know?
yeah. He actually brought me in too.
Right. So through that, he was just laying seeds on me. But it was in the year 2000. Basically, just life for me took a change because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
You know, I always knew God. I went to church, but I didn't really understand the ways of God as I understand them now.
Right.
And so going through a really bad divorce, and you know, these seeds still being dropped on me, and I'm going to church. When I started to study more Islam, it brought about a transformation that caused me to walk with Christ.
Right. Right.
More than profess him. Like, I needed that discipline for me, that understanding of the discipline, which is a discipleship of Christ. And the Nation of Islam helped me not to just know, but apply.
Right.
So the application of it is what helped me to join Islam. And it was really the sisterhood and the brotherhood.
Right.
Because I come from a big family. But I'm the oldest. And I always wanted a big sister.
Yeah. Right.
So coming into the Nation of Islam, that helped me, that fulfilled something in me. And I really loved the brotherhood and the sisterhood. And then, of course, when I began to hear Minister Farrakhan, that was the icing on the cake. But it was more so just watching the brotherhood and the sisterhood that really, I was like, I want to be a part of this.
Right. All right, so that's what great place for us to take a real quick break, and then what we'll do is we'll take a break, we'll come back and we'll talk more about some of the things that you got coming up. I know repairing the black family is huge on the radar, some of the work that you're doing around vaccinations, we'd like to get more into that. And so we'll be right back and we'll talk more after this break. Welcome back to the Lakeside Chat. I'm your host, Brother John Muhammad, here with Sister Nayyirah Muhammad and Brother Rizza Islam.
Yes, sir.
And interesting. I mean, this is the energy of this particular cipher is definitely inspiring, and you can feel the spirit and the presence of God. And I thank you for that, for bringing that. For those who don't know, it's Resurrection Sunday, Easter
and that's
Sunday.
why I got on my white. It actually came from the mind.
Right. So you're leaving right from work to work, right?
Absolutely.
And one of the things in, my journey in the Nation of Islam is, I always heard the minister say that the mosque is the launching pad for our activities, and that it's, where we come in and we breathe in the spirit of life, inhale, but then we go out into the community and do the work. And so, Brother Rizza, I know you mentioned that you're a humanitarian. What are some of the things that you're really working on right now outside of the work that you're doing, particularly in the mosque, but in the community? I know you mentioned gangs and other things.
Absolutely. Well, uniting the Bloods and the Crips is a major thing. That's not something that I originated by far. It's something that I, along with many others, have continued to pick up every generation. Right. Since the inception of the Bloods and the Crips, or the Crips in 1969, we've been striving to continue the understanding of the original purpose, which was community resistance in progress, which was what Crip stood for. It was when the community came together to resist the racist police officers.
Oh wow.
That was the original purpose.
Right.
Okay, the community would come together to fight against that and to protect themselves. So that was the original purpose, but it's something much different today than what it was back then. And the Bloods came after in Inglewood, and now it's something that the government uses to keep us divided amongst one another. But that's
which is historically their pattern.
Of course, that's what they always do. COINTELPRO, we know what they do. But it's our time to come together, to unite as a people. Forget the color lines. It's like, no, you were a black man before you were a Blood or a Crip, or you were this before you were a Blood or a Crip. We have to get back to that. Because we were more successful when we were together. So that's one of the major things, is uniting the Bloods and Crips. Also standing with our Native Indigenous family. At Standing Rock, I was honored on behalf of Minister Tony Muhammad to go down to Standing Rock, North Dakota. Long before it was all over the media. I mean, it was heavy long before the media came. And they were sicking dogs on the people. I mean, these are poor Native brothers and sisters who have been here long before we came over here. Or should I say, long before we were taught that there was anyone else here. They were here before the Europeans came. And their land is still being taken from them. And it's like nobody cares about them. They only want the oil. And so when I went down there, that is exactly what it was. And I went down there to commemorate the agreement that the Nation of Islam had with the natives when Minister Farrakhan went down and stood with them. So I brought the flag of the Nation of Islam to stand with over 190 Native Indigenous nations.
I remember seeing that. I saw a post, and I did. That's where I saw you from.
Yes, sir.
And I saw that they had the different flags from the different nations.
All the different tribal nations. And these are tribal nations internationally. Indigenous nations of Russia, all the way up to Canada. I mean, all of them. And there's over 500 in America alone. So we just came together to do that, and I was honored to take on that task, and also the vaccines.
And we're gonna come back to that. That's a whole chat in itself.
And I just want to sit back and be a student on that one.
And then with I know, Sister Nayyirah, we're responsible for the women and girls, the MGT and GCC.
Absolutely.
And what would you say are some of the most important aspects of the work that you're doing with our sisters and women and girls in the community at this point, in this day and time?
Well, Brother John, and I must come from this aspect first, in that scripture. And the Bible is in the book of Hosea 4:6. It says, our people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, because we reject knowledge. It's not that knowledge is not available. It's because we have rejected knowledge. And because the woman is so valuable, especially even right now today, just dealing with the resurrection, and how Jesus, when he, after the so-called 3-day of rising, he rose and he went and appeared back to the woman. And he told the woman to tell the disciples that he wasn't dead. Well, we're living in a new dispensation of time where the woman has to know her role. She's the second self of God.
That's right.
The woman, when you think of the woman, let's just bring it back down to present ground time.
Right.
You know, we're responsible for our families.
Yeah.
Our children. We're the first teachers. We make the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if we are blind, deaf, and dumb to our role, then we begin to propagate somebody else's plan.
Right.
You see? So it is so important right now to put us back into our proper roles through the knowledge of self, the knowledge of God, and the knowledge of the enemy. And I always like to bring this up. Everybody must study this, and we must teach our children the breaking process of the female woman with the Willie Lynch syndrome.
Right. And
we just need to know about Willie Lynch in particular,
right,
but specifically the woman. Because in order for the new world to come, the woman has to be brought back into a level where she can produce. We're creators. We're part of we are from the creator, which means we make creation.
Right.
You understand? Anything that's beautiful in your home, more than likely came from the woman.
I bear witness to that. That is
so
right.
our communities will be made better when the woman is taught back into her nature.
Right.
We're out of our nature.
And you mentioned Willie Lynch and the breaking process of the women, and we were actually having a conversation about that earlier, dealing with the trauma that was associated with that whole breaking process. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan now has the Nation of Islam and encouraged the Nation of Islam to study Dianetics. So is there any connection, in your mind, or from how that traumatic process that happened during that time affects us today?
Absolutely.
And is Dianetics a tool that actually could help with that?
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to say this, and I hope I can get it all out. One, because it's so much. That's a full question.
Right.
But let's just look at the breaking process of the woman. The one thing is, first of all, we was not slaves when we got here.
Right.
We was prisoners of war.
Right.
Yeah.
We were gods.
Yeah.
We were women that knew about the stars.
Yes.
You understand? We made our own medicine. We knew about the ground.
Yeah.
We knew these things. We made these things. When we were brought over here and we were made into a slave, which that's a whole nother process that we could talk about at a different time. But in this process of breaking us down psychologically, before he even dealt with us physically, we knew our men to be tribal men that took care of us in the villages. We looked up to that man, that black man.
Yeah.
You understand? He was a warrior, a mandingo.
Yeah.
Now this man is brought over here, and over a period of time before us.
Yeah.
This man that once took care of us, he's being ripped apart physically.
Yeah.
Tied up to a horse physically, and he would do it while we was pregnant. We had to watch that. Not only was it psychologically dealing with the people that was watching this, but now it's going down into the DNA. That fear. If you watch how they slaughter animals, and they slaughter the animal, and the next animal, the fear is produced in the hormones. Well, that's the same way with us.
Right.
This is going down generation after generation after generation, and now what happens? We are a people that is in fear.
Right.
How does that relate to even now? We cannot fully respect our men because psychologically we have seen him been broken down, and now he appears weak, even in his best condition. And they have programmed us to think like this.
Right.
Now you find he says you make the woman independent.
Yeah. And they sing about that now.
I was just gonna say, what's the song?
Single ladies. Little Boosie, right?
All of these songs, all of these things that's keeping. Willie Lynch said this is a technology that will last up to 1,000 years if you install it correctly. So now you don't have to look at no white man doing nothing. It's self-perpetuating itself. But the thing of it is, Brother John, it's down to the modern time. Now, how does that work today? I have young children, so they try to keep me up on things so I can sound relevant.
Speak the language of the time.
This song, Bad and Bougie.
Yeah.
Ooh. Come on.
You talking talking about a man who the woman naturally is going to help because that's her role in nature. She's cooking up the dope with the Uzi.
Yeah.
Where is he?
Yeah.
Where is he?
Yeah.
I got the Uzi. I'm in the kitchen cooking dope, not food.
Yeah.
Dope.
Right.
But then after I finish doing my job, because my nature is to serve him, you gonna take me out to buy some chicken?
Wow.
A box of chicken?
Right.
And a biscuit.
Yeah.
And a biscuit? And we perpetuate this music to our babies.
Yeah.
Wow.
He said that we will train our offsprings to serve him.
Yeah.
So
and you made that point about technology, because I really want to talk.
Y'all was about to go there, Jeff, but y'all slow me down.
We want to talk about
how Dianetics play a part.
Yes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a break, and then we might have to do an extended version, brother, because this thing is full. So we're gonna take a real quick break, and then we're gonna come back and talk more about this technology and how we can reverse this Willie Lynch syndrome and do something
Brother
about
Rizza
it.
got some stuff to say on that too, but I'm gonna go ahead and bring in my part, the female version.
All right.
Because he can give a lot about the founder.
Yeah.
You see, because that's very key in understanding who L. Ron Hubbard is and his assignment.
Okay.
I'm giving you my experience with the technology and why it was given to us, especially as the Nation of Islam.
Right.
See, black people didn't accept this before the nation.
Yeah.
And the rate were accepted.
Right.
So we need to uncover
so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Dianetics and Scientology, and your experience with it, and also again some upcoming projects that you're working on. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Lakeside Chat. I'm your host, Brother John Muhammad, here with Brother Rizza Islam and Sister Nayyirah Muhammad. And man, we talked about your coming into the nation, Bloods and Crips, the original, what Crip stands for, and we even talked about bad and bougie. So one of the things that is really big, particularly on social media and social media sites, is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has directed members of the Nation of Islam to study Dianetics.
Right.
And it's a lot of conversations about that, particularly in conscious communities. They talk about him sending us to go and study from this white man who was a racist. And before the break, Sister Nayyirah mentioned that you are familiar and have studied the history of L. Ron Hubbard. So would you mind telling us a little bit about your introduction to Dianetics and Scientology, and a little bit about who is L. Ron Hubbard?
Absolutely, not a problem. Well, one, from your experience.
Yeah,
from my experience, I'll just say this. I started looking at this or researching this around 1999.
Okay.
When I was 9 years old. And I was introduced to it by my father and by my mother, actually. My father, Reverend Freddie Johnson, and my mother, Dr. Hanan Islam. And to look at it from the perspective of, this is a white person who made this, will automatically make us as a people not want to touch it. Because of the history of what Caucasians have done as a whole, to us as a whole.
Right.
So it's a pain connect there, which Dianetics specifically outlines that we're going to go into. But when I looked at it, it helped me specifically because it pointed at direct things that had gone on with me in my life.
Right.
So I didn't look at it from, a white man said this. No, we've been saying this for hundreds and thousands of years as a people.
Yeah.
And I was raised in an African culture, African-centric cultural mentality in schooling. So I already understood that he wasn't the first one to talk about the mind or the soul and how it affected people. So I already knew.
Right.
So Dianetics means through the mind or through the soul. Scientology comes from skio, which means knowing, and ology means a study of. So Scientology literally means a study of knowing or the study of knowledge.
Okay.
So nobody owns knowledge.
Right.
Let's just make that very clear.
Yeah.
Right. Come on.
So we can't say some white man owns this and he made no. And he himself, L. Ron Hubbard, said that this technology, I did not create this technology. This is a study of prophets and men of over 5,000, 50,000 years. And he just continued to put the truth there, which was, I didn't make this. This is not mine.
Right.
We've already known about the mind as a people, about the spirit. We are the most spiritual people on the planet. We know as the original, man and woman of the planet. So nobody can take that, and say that they own it. But it has helped me, specifically Dianetics, by helping me to go into my past and the things that have happened to me as an individual and my family. Being, involved in gangs and drugs. My older sister was on crack for 20 years on Skid Row in Los Angeles. We had to go and grab her. See, these things are pains.
Right.
Dianetics helps you to relieve it without drugs.
Right.
This is the main key as to why Dianetics is so important. One, it wasn't invented by a white man.
That's right.
That's the first thing. Two, it alleviates without drugs.
Right.
See, all these other things, they want to give you a drug.
Right. Yeah.
And say, oh, you're going through a little trauma? You're a little depressed? Here, take this drug. As though a physical drug can help you with a mental problem.
Right.
See, this has to be addressed mentally and spiritually.
Right.
So Dianetics helps to remove the pain without the drug, give you the memory, but give you the ability to confront it, face it, and have the power to overcome it.
Right.
That's what the Dianetics has done for me and for over 1,000 people that I've helped with it directly.
Right.
See, and it's not, once again, a black man speaking for a white man.
Yeah.
This is the truth speaking for itself.
Right.
It's just the truth. Same thing with Scientology. It has lots of different courses and technology that help you with everyday life problems.
Right.
And study technology mainly. And by the way, a lot of us want to say things when it comes to white people, but none of us complain when we go to colleges.
Yeah.
Almost all of them created by white people.
Yeah, these professors and
professors.
You got these degrees on your wall.
Right. You have all these degrees.
Right.
Were all of your teachers black?
Right.
Were all of your teachers brown or Hispanic or whatever you classify yourself to be?
Yeah.
Or did you have white teachers?
Right.
Did you get mad at them and say, well, how many times you call a black person nigga?
Right.
Yeah.
Or did you say, I need the A on this test so I can get this degree so I can make some more money?
Right.
You see, so it's the truth that we are looking at in Dianetics, Scientology, and all of these different things just have truth.
Right.
And they're pieces of truth which belong to us by nature.
Right.
And so the Honorable Mrs. Farrakhan directing us to study Dianetics was only him doing what Allah God does, which is to tell us to go and possess knowledge.
Yeah.
Possess truth wherever you see it.
Right.
And Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, says that we should seek knowledge from cradle to grave.
Yeah.
Knowledge and truth is ours by nature.
Yeah.
So I don't care where it is, I'm going to go study it, especially if I can help my people to be better from it.
Absolutely.
And it will be wrong for me not to.
And then I know Sister Nayyirah, you're the regional auditors coordinator, because actually in the Nation of Islam, auditors coordinators is a position, is a post, right?
Absolutely.
And so what are some of the responsibilities that you have as an auditors coordinator? And what is an auditor?
Well,
I mean, I saw the TV show,
right.
you see that, right? and how they, like get out, make you think, oh man, they people getting in your
Absolutely.
head.
Right.
So what is an auditor, and then what are your roles as a coordinator?
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Well, first of all, Dianetics is the modern science to mental health. So we're dealing with mental health. This is not where you have psychiatry and psychology. That's a different form that does not have anything to do with being an auditor.
Okay.
An auditor, see, most psychiatrists, they telling you your problem.
Right. Yeah.
An auditor is one that listens and computes. So now this person is sitting before you, and they're guiding you through incidents by asking you questions to get you to look.
Okay.
Right? They're not doing anything. They're just saying, okay, well, look at the tree. What do you see?
Yeah.
Now you're telling them what it is.
Right.
And that person is guiding you to solve your own problem.
That's right.
You understand?
Right. Which is totally reverse of psychology.
It's totally reverse.
Because they tell you what's wrong with you and write you a prescription.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
But it's an applied science. You are skilled to be able to deliver a person from the pain that's attached to the memory. Remember, our memory is a picture.
Yeah.
So when you start to look at things, you're looking at picture, but associated with that picture is pain.
Yeah.
So now we're getting rid of the pain, and then later on in process, we'll literally get rid of the pictures.
Oh, wow.
You understand?
Wow.
So we're just going to keep it at the pain level.
Yeah.
Why is it necessary in this dispensation of time, specifically for child's crime? What I know, and we just was affected yesterday, what I know, we're losing our children, people, but black people, black men in particular, at an alarming rate.
Yeah.
If you don't know the person, you're going to feel it just by hearing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And depending on what you're doing at that particular time or that particular moment, you can be re-stimulated, meaning you lost somebody. Now you're not just feeling the pain of what you just heard. Brother George got killed yesterday, fallen soldier.
Yeah.
You understand?
Nuruddin, good brother. Yeah.
we ain't just feel that, we felt the pain of man.
Yeah.
And the pain of that one.
Yeah.
And, all of these pictures start coming up in our mind.
Yeah.
And now we may be in fear for our child, or, we thinking about something that we have been through, but Dianetics will have you to confront each situation in a new unit of time where you're dealing with the present time problem.
Right.
You see? For me, and I'm going to say this, and I can say this with confidence and comfortable because of Dianetics. As a black woman, raised by the best family that God could have given me, my mother and my father. I love them much. I lost my dad in 2000. But there was a lot of things I seen in my life where they was trying to do the best that they could do.
Yeah.
But as a result of them living the street life, things happened to me that they had no control over. I was molested by my cousin since the age of 13. No, I'm sorry, 7. It was 13 when I was brutally raped by him. It wasn't until 4 years ago, going through this process, that I was relieved of that.
Yeah.
Always a faithful woman. I'm in the mosque.
Yeah.
I pray. I serve the Lord. But there was something in me that kept me from being the full, complete woman for my husband.
Yeah.
Because I brought pain in our relationship that I didn't understand myself.
Right.
He may look at me a certain type of way and I got upset. Didn't know why I was upset. I'm just upset.
Yeah.
But as I began to go through this process of auditing, I was able to recognize that that particular look was a look of my abuser.
Wow. Wow.
So now you have Minister Farrakhan know that so many of us have suffered this level of trauma, among other things.
Yes. Yeah.
That he would love us so much. Yeah, he went to a white man. But when you study L. Ron Hubbard, this is no cult. Because I got common sense.
Right.
Okay, let's just clear that up.
Right.
My mother did not raise no fool.
Right.
Mr. Farrakhan said go, I went. But then I started to get benefit for myself.
Yeah.
You understand? Now I can stand as a witness bearer of the decision of Minister Farrakhan, not just to lead the nation, but to lead humanity.
Yeah.
To get something to free you.
Yeah.
See, it's good to be free on the outside. See, we got these masks on.
Yeah.
We look good.
Nice little suit.
We dress good.
Yeah.
We smell good. But go home and what do you look like?
Yeah.
When it's just you and God.
Right. What's behind that smile?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this Dianetics began to pull the layers. It's like an onion. It pulls it off slowly but surely, and it ultimately it gets rid of it. When you look at Scientology, Brother Rizza broke it down. I like to take it a step further. In my study, it's showing you that Scientology rehabilitate the human being from the soul.
Wow.
You see, it rehabilitates you. You understand? So there's certain things in our lives that we may not understand. Just even going back to Willie Lynch, in this process of us being in America, we was taught not to read. We was forced not to read.
Yeah.
We was beaten.
Yeah, and punished by death for reading.
Exactly.
Right.
So not only are you suffering with the physical pain of that, now every time you read, something come up in you. You don't know what that is. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, if you want to know something, if you want to keep something from a black man and woman, put it in a book.
Wow.
We don't want to read. Well, here go Mr. Hubbard. He brings study technology. Not only is he teaching you the proper way to learn how to learn, he's telling you the physical manifestations that's going to come up in you
as you're trying to
learn. Be retaught on how to read. So this man brought by a codified way of life that he went all around the world studying people and getting the best out of the ones he studied. Say, okay, this, if you do this, it's going to be like this. This is research. You understand that he's done? It's science. So he's not telling you to serve God this way, sir. No, he said he leaves that to you. So this is why it's non-denominational. You could be a Christian, you could be a Muslim, you could be a Jew, you could be whatever you want to be. He just gives you tools to be good at that.
Right.
You see?
So why do you think that's such an attack? I mean, it's kind of us knowing the history. I think I don't really need to answer this question. We just cut right there. But why do you think they're going so hard? I mean, and this is just a commentary for those who are watching and may not think the way we think. And understand how diabolical Satan is in trying to keep things from us. So why do you think there's such an attack, particularly now? Because I saw this documentary. What is it? What's some lady
called Going Clear?
Going Clear.
And now Leah Remini is
this lady have a show. It come on all the time, and so why do you think that's being promoted and that's such a big thing in this particular time?
You know what? COINTELPRO under J. Edgar Hoover, he said that we need he gave specific orders on what to do, but he said among one of these, we must prevent the rise of a black messiah who can unify and electrify the people.
Right.
Specifically, they were looking at the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, number one. But they said, no, he's too old. So we don't have to worry about him, is what they said. They looked at Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael. They looked at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and they looked at Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. But those orders to prevent the rise of a black messiah, now that's biblical language. Okay, you have a government individual using biblical language. So what is it that they see that is higher than this government, higher than this system of things? They're looking in the spiritual realm, like we need to prevent the person who will break our control over the people. Not just white people saying over black people, because a lot of white people today are not like their ancestors. A lot of them really are not. You know, and a lot of them are trying to escape what their ancestors have done. So the reason why the attack is so large and so big is because they see that there is a group of benevolent, kind white people whose entire life is dedicated only to reversing the effects of those actions which their ancestors have caused. And they are happy to do it. They're helping black people, they're helping white people, natives, all over the planet. That's all they do. That's all they do. That's all they do.
That's their work, I
mean, it's like, okay, look, I'm sorry, but I can't get mad at a white person being mad at another white person. Okay, that's your argument. Okay. I'm trying to help my people. Okay, you can go over there and have a fight, but my people need some help. So to see Leah Remini or to see anybody making a documentary saying they took money from me, or why'd you give them? You know, anytime
that's what Sister Nayyirah said. It's common sense.
If you just don't want something, you say no. Somebody comes to your door, I want to sell you something. No, I don't want it. Very simple. There's no force. Just like there's no compulsion in Islam, there's no force in Islam. No, we're not going to force you to join the nation. We're not going to force you to be on the course.
But any good salesperson, they're going to use sales tactics, and if you start showing some angles,
you start bending a little bit, they're going to take it. They got to get a product just like everyone does. You see, so I'm not mad at them. But the point is, the groups that are feared because of their ability to resurrect the people is the Church of Scientology and the Nation of Islam. That goes without a doubt.
That's true.
There's no one that can debate that. But specifically because the Church of Scientology wishes to help literally anyone. When they saw that Minister Farrakhan gave us the directive to go and possess this knowledge, they took that as an advantage to actually help us to help our own people. You see.
And we got like another 4 minutes, and so what I want to do is, I mean, that's awesome, and like you said, we could do a whole show on just that alone. And you actually do a show, right? Is it Dianetically Speaking?
Dianetically Speaking. Let's make one thing perfectly clear. That is you.
Okay.
But we need to bring it to Lakeside Chat.
That's right.
And so, Repairing the Black Family, an event that's coming up April 29th at the Child's Park Recreation Center. Give me the time and the purpose for the event.
Yes, sir. It's April 29th. Doors open at 1:30. The workshops begin at 2. We definitely going to have the vaccination and the attack of autism on our black males. We're going to have what they call the assist, which is hands-on healings. All of this stuff belongs
hands-on healing.
Hands-on healing. We're going to teach you how to heal with your hands.
And it's not like that spooky, going to make crazy dances and fall on the floor like moonwalking,
and we're going to teach some hands-on healing. And we're going to literally roll out a film just to get the people acquainted with Dianetics. And then we will also have auditors available that if a person wants to try this out on a gradient level, then we'll have that available too.
Okay.
We ask for the community to come out because this is the ideal type for something that's traveling around the nation.
Right.
Now.
Yeah, because you were just in Harlem.
I was just in Harlem, New York, and we're bringing it to Charles Park. The purpose of this is to bring about a healing that's universal.
Right.
It's not specifically to one group and one age. We're targeting 13 to our elders, but you can come in and get this technology. And remember, our people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge because we reject it.
Yeah.
So we're asking for the community to come out and experience something great that can help you and your family to begin that process of healing, repairing the Black family, but ultimately we want to repair Charles Park in the city of St. Petersburg.
That's right.
Because when we're healed, everybody else is healed.
That's right.
Yes.
Black lives matter.
For real.
That's right.
You see,
For real.
so that's why we're doing it.
And I appreciate that, and I really thank you for bringing it to Charles Park. With me being the president of the Neighborhood Association, and that's one of the things that we strive to do is make our area a model for what can happen in the rest of the city.
Right.
And so we're praying for the success, and we'll be working to ensure the success of the repairing of the Black family on April the 29th. Doors open at 1:30 p.m. And Brother Rizza, what you got? Anything cooking that you want to share?
Oh man, you know what? There's so much. There's so much. Right. You know what? Let me just touch on this last thing here. Vaccines. A lot of our people, we trust a doctor. Anybody in a white coat, and a degree, doctor, MD, we trust them. They must know a lot more than we do, right? But we know from the Tuskegee experiment all the way down, we can't trust the government in everything they give us.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And autism has been proven to be caused by vaccines, without a doubt. Dr. William Thompson, who is a senior lead scientist of the Center for Disease Control's Vaccine Division, he is the highest authority when it comes to vaccines. He himself has said that if we had exposed this information at least 10 years ago, we could have prevented at least 100,000 Black boys from having autism.
Right.
And he said that the MMR vaccine, measles, mumps, and rubella, has a 236% more likelihood of giving a Black boy autism than anyone else.
Wow.
So this has been exposed a long time ago. I will be here definitely next week with Sister Nayyirah to go over that section.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
And then how long will you be in town and be in the area?
I've been here for about 2 months, and I'll be here until the day after.
Okay.
I'm flying out there.
Okay,
Right.
you got it.
Yes,
got it. We're going to try and poach you and bring you back from LA.
All together, East and West Coast.
And he's
Yeah.
going to be speaking at the Mosque on April 23rd.
Okay.
On
God
Vaxxed.
Okay, got it. So Vax, so that'll be April 23rd at Muhammad's Mosque.
Yes.
1501 16th Street. Doors open 10:30.
Yes.
11 o'clock.
Yes.
Eastern Standard Time. Right. Well, look, it's been a full interview. I'm probably driving our director crazy because we got we like 20 minutes in on just that one segment. But it's so much to unpack. And so I really thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing everything that you've shared.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all for watching.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you the next time on the Lakeside Chat. Believe and do good.